Afternoon headlines are brought to you by Palm Coast Ford, your hometown dealer. Hello everyone, I'm Jared Malden, and today we will have a recap of all the top stories this week. A Matanzas High School student is arrested for fighting another student, then turning on a school resource deputy. That's the top story from Monday. School administrators say 18-year-old Alan Brown walked into the cafeteria, removed his shirt, then began punching a 15-year-old student who was sitting at a table. The surveillance video is pixelated, but you can see the incident unfold in the upper center of the screen. School staff and school resource deputy John Landy separated the two students. After Landy gave clear verbal warnings, Brown then attacked Landy. Landy was punched multiple times by Brown, knocking him to the ground. Landy then deployed his taser, striking Brown in the left torso before being secured. Brown is charged with battery on a law enforcement officer, and disruption of a school function. It's sentencing for the man that caused local schools to go into lockdown back in December. That's the top story from Tuesday. William Gerald Hoffer, a former FPC student, was sentenced Monday to 3 years probation after pleading no contest to fraud offense against computer users. Back in December, Matanzas and Flagler Palm Coast High Schools and the Palm Coast campus of Daytona State College were all ordered into lockdown after law enforcement says Hoffer posted threatening messages on his Facebook page. After the threats, a day-long manhunt led to Hoffer's arrest in Flagler Beach. An 11-year-old says he was approached by a man who was trying to lure him into his van. The incident occurred on Sunday afternoon in the area of Red Mill Drive in Palm Coast. That's the top story from Wednesday. The boy said he was riding his bike on Red Mill Drive between Red Barn Drive and Renshaw Drive around 3:45 when he was approached by a black male in a shiny black full-sized van. The child said the stranger tried to lure him with candy and toys to get into the van. That's when the boy screamed before riding his bike home to tell his mother. The suspect is described as having medium complexion, shoulder-length dreadlocks, and wearing a black jacket or long-sleeved shirt with a white undershirt. Anyone with information on this suspicious incident is asked to call the sheriff's office at 313-4911. Paul Miller took the stand in his own murder trial with a testimony that spanned almost 2 hours. That was the top story on Thursday. Miller is charged with second-degree murder in the death of his neighbor, Dana Mulhall. On the evening of the shooting, Miller was in his garage at 1340 South Flagler Avenue in Flagler Beach when he heard Mulhall yelling at Miller's dogs outside. Miller says he was nervous about what may happen next after he heard Mulhall's front door slam. Thinking Mulhall may try to kill his dogs, Miller then went inside and grabbed a pistol from his living room. Miller says that after Mulhall began yelling and cursing and shaking the fence that separated the two properties, Mulhall then walked toward the road as if he were coming on to Miller's yard. Miller then says Mulhall reached his left hand behind him, which led Miller to believe that he was grabbing a gun. Miller says Mulhall told him during their argument that he was armed. Miller then shot Mulhall 5 times before calling 911. During the trial, prosecuting attorney Jacqueline Royce asked Miller why he didn't grab the phone instead of a gun. She then said, quote, "If you would have used your phone and not your gun, Mr. Mulhall would still be alive." Emotions were tense in the courtroom after Miller became visibly agitated at the questioning from Royce. Miller called her crazy and said more than once that he didn't want to talk to her anymore. Thursday in the courtroom, Miller's defense called on a land surveyor to examine the property lines of the 2 yards. Mulhall's blood alcohol content, which was .188, which was more than twice the legal limit, was also discussed. Closing arguments in the murder trial against Paul Miller were held this morning at 8:30 a.m. Stay with the Observer online and in print as we bring you the latest on this story. And those were the stories that made headlines this week. For news anytime, log on to our website at palmcoastobserver.com and like us on Facebook. I'm Jared Malden, and from everyone here at the Observer, thanks for watching.
Hi, Mike Krynock, General Sales Manager at Palm Coast Ford. Do you have unlucky credit, bad credit, low bureau score? Well, that's not a worry at Palm Coast Ford. We want to build a relationship with you and introduce the banks that we have relationship with. Arrange a loan and get you out on the road driving your new car or truck. So pay us a visit at Palm Coast Ford, your hometown dealer.